Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about how I do a yearly budget, which I know seems a little weird because it's a big deal in the financial community and the frugal living community to do a budget faithfully every month. That doesn't work for me. So I'm going to tell you what I do instead. So grab something to drink, I don't know, maybe a pen and paper, and we'll get into it here in just a minute. Oh, hey, look at that. It matches my shirt. That's funny. Okay, so just like with any budget, okay, let me back up. If you're new to budgeting, how you would do a budget is, first of all, you have to know how much you're bringing in. And then you also have to know what all your expenses are. And the best way to find out what your expenses are is to either pull up your bank app, look in your check register if you're still a person that uses a check register, or get on, your credit card statement, all of that. You got to know how much you are spending on things. That's imperative. Another thing is you got to know how much you make, how much is actually hitting your bank account. That's really, really important, and I didn't realize how many people don't know that. Okay, so after you get your income and an idea of what your expenses are, what you want to do when you make this yearly budget, well, really, even if you make a monthly budget, but what I like to do is I go with the least amount I think we're going to make for the month, because that way we hit it, right? So I'm not thinking that we're gonna, because maybe sometimes we make $3,000, but the majority of the time we make 28. So my budget is going to be like $2,750 for the times that we don't quite make that even $2,800. So that's what I do. I go with the least amount of money that we would be bringing in. I start with that. And then I take all of my fixed expenses. So your rent, your house payment, your, utilities, all of that kind of stuff. By the way, one way to try to make your utilities more fixed rather than so up and down, like in the winter where it's really high and in the summer where they're really low, to where they're more even. Our companies have I think it's called equal pay, or it's something like that, where they take an average of a usage over 6 months or a year. They average it out, and then you pay a certain amount, whatever the average is, over the course of the year. Makes it so much easier to budget, so you don't have those like, oh my gosh, it's what, so you don't have that. Anyway, so you have all your fixed expenses. That includes groceries. In my house, it includes groceries, it includes gas, it includes car insurance, investments that come out automatically, savings that comes out automatically. All of those things, they're the same over and over and over. You start with those. And then what I do is I figure out what what our vacation, if we're going to go on vacation this year, what I want to spend on Christmas, birthdays, holidays, all of those things, any home repairs, all of the stuff that's variable like that. I assign a number to all of these things, and then I divide that number by 12, and that's what is my sinking funds number. If you don't know what sinking funds are, they're just savings that you have that are for specific things. Like Christmas is on December 25th. So it is now, say, the beginning of January. You have basically 12 months, or maybe 11 months really, because, you can do your shopping early. You have 11 or 12 months to gather that money. So you would take your, whatever the number is that you plan on spending, and divide that by your 11 or your 12 number, and that's your sinking funds number. So I add up all of those, I divide them by 12, and that's how much I save in that category. So that makes it so much easier. And then once those are done, once my fixed expenses variable spending, investing, savings. Once that's done, then I can figure out how much I have left each month for other savings, right? For anything else that we want to do, or we would just want to pad our savings account for having the money in there. We already have an emergency fund set aside. However, if we didn't, that's where that would definitely be going, is to that emergency fund. And so that's what I do. Now, the part that I did not like about budgeting monthly is that if there's any variation in expenses, you have to go through and redo, figure out where you're going to put that money here and there. Well, we've already made those decisions in advance. Remember how I told you I did my budget on the least possible amount that we would make for the month? Okay, that comes into play here, because more than likely we're going to make more than that, as on most months. And so we've already made the decisions in advance where that money goes to, whether it goes to savings or to, what have you. So right now we didn't use our, all of our grocery money for this week because we didn't even have to go. And so that money is either going to go to our Costco envelope, or it's going to go to some, pantry staple stuff. And so those kinds of decisions are the ones that you make in advance. Or let's just say you have some, what they call found money, which is your dentist office sends you, sends you a refund, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you have a tax refund. Where's the prioritization? What are you prioritizing right now? And that's where it would go. This makes all of my finances feel like they're on autopilot, because we've made decisions in advance. We already have it set up where we know where everything is going. Here's an interesting thing. Okay, so if we get paid, bi-weekly or whatever, we'll have extra paychecks, right? I let that extra, the extra paychecks, I set those in my checking account and I leave them there so that there's a buffer between us and, maybe I forgot something, right? Maybe, I don't know, my life insurance is more expensive right now, at this time, because the rates were raised, or, whatever have you. Then there's money in there to cover that. So, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we forgot something that was, that we just didn't budget for, like the $40 item that you needed at the hardware store, that kind of thing. We have a miscellaneous envelope for those kind of situations. So also, when we make a little more than we thought, we put money in a miscellaneous envelope, and then it covers all of those like little random things like that. Let me know if you use a zero-based budget and how it works for you. It did not work for me. This is the way we budget, and I know everybody budgets a little bit differently, and I'd like to hear how you do it. But thank you for watching the video today, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.